We live in a society where status comes from how much we own and the things we own. And the society always tells us to put our money in buying new stuff. It don't talk so much about saving money. It's almost always to put money on something instead of saving money for something later. I don't think it's only in Sweden the prices have gone up so much. Even if I know that the food prices in Sweden have been the highest in the whole Scandinavia. I had a seminarium yesterday where we speak about food and the beneficial thing the food gives us. And I went so happy when the teacher actually took up the prices, because it's not always for us affordable to eat healthy right now when the prices are so high. And we have to consider that, for me as an example who read to occupational therapy, when I'm done, that I can't just say to someone to go and eat healthy, because maybe that person don't have money to eat healthy food because it is expensive. And it's also, we talked about this recommendation that here in Sweden we're gonna eat 5 fruits per person every day. We are 3 people in this household right now. That means that we're gonna have 15 fruits every day. I bought fruit for my son, 3 clementiner for 18 krona. It's just, how can we afford with 15 fruits every day if we're gonna eat after the recommendation? The body needs it, but the wallet can't take it. And that leads into the subject I really want to talk about, which is happiness. It don't make me happy to spend my money on things I don't need. I rather should spend my money on food who is beneficial for my body. It's so high price right now to eat after the recommendations. And I think that drag us down quite much. Our happiness go down of that. And I think when we eat healthy, the body gonna feel good, and then we also gonna be more happy. Because I feel it's hard to be happy when we see that we don't have afford with healthy food. But I was listening to a podcast a couple of days ago who was from Mel Robbins. I don't know if you know who she is, but she is a really big woman to talk about motivation and to make people motivated and change their behavior till the better, and to also change their lifestyle till the better. In her podcast, she have different experts. What they talk about is based on science. And then a couple of days ago, Dr. Judith was there. She is a psychologist. She have a lab. She do studies about different things. And now she also study about happiness. She talked about what I always talk about. And that is that our happiness don't come from the things we own, because it is like a short-term happiness. For example, if you have seen a new phone you want, you get the phone and then you have it in your hand, it's yours, and then it's probably fun for just 2 weeks, and then you want something new again. And this is how our brain works. We get something and then it's not fun anymore, and we start to see the next thing we want. So she talked about this, that the happiness, the real happiness, this can't come from something that we buy. And either it don't come from the thing we think it is. She created 5 words who describe a long time happiness, if you fulfill these 5 words. I want to share this with you, and I'm not going to take credit for anything of this. I just want to share this with you. I'm going to say it again. It's Dr. Judith who come up with this. But I think this was so good, so that's why I want to share it with you who look at my videos. And she talked about this in Mel Robbins' podcast. I want to talk about this because I also want to talk about my own happiness. And even if I have less more or less stuff than I had before. I don't know if I'm happier. I'm happier now than when I had my home full with stuff and I couldn't even see the walls because it was just stuff everywhere. I'm happier against that, but I am not happier in the long run, I feel. It's more like I feel more peace. And this really hits me when she talk about this happiness. Even if we know we can't find happiness from buying things, because we know that we want to buy more and more and more to feel that happiness. And if we really look to it, we know that that is just a short time happiness. We're always gonna strive for something more. But I can say the longer we have saved for something, for at least me, the happier I be to actually get it. But it's still not a long time happiness. So these 5 words she speak about, I want to share it with you. And validating is like, why do I feel as I do? And when I check to myself, I feel I'm not as happy that I wish I was. And I think it is because I feel I don't have the life I want to have. And that can be my fault also. I can't blame anyone else. But my dream is to build a tiny house, live in the countryside, have my own garden, do my own vegetables, and have a peace and quiet life. And I feel I'm not there because I don't have the money to fix it. And also, I feel I just stay here also because I still go on to the hospital for my health 2 to 3 times every week because I have been really, really sick and I am in this rehabilitation period and they just find more things all the time. Like I was there this week when I record this. When you see it, it's gonna be the week before. And they told me that my blood pressure is really high and I have always have low blood pressure, never ever high. And she told me that because you stress too much. And yes, it is a lot actually. I have a lot in school. I read to occupational therapist and now we read about the body. And it is like every 2 days we have a seminarium that we have to go to and then we have to study the other day. So it's quite a lot and it's also a big test coming up. And also my husband's little brother passed away and 3 weeks after, who is now 1 week ago, his mother also passed away. But it's a lot coming up at the same time and my son is, we go and see if he have ADHD. I think I pronounced that right. And it's also a lot in his school. They don't really know how to handle him. And over this, I am in the hospital 2 to 3 times every week. So I feel like it's a lot to not be happy for right now. And I really need to dive deep in and see what actually make me happy. And something she really talk about also is to be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself what don't make you happy and what's make you happy. And she talk about like going back to when you was a child. And if you feel like you're not in a happy place right now, go back to when you was a child and see what made you happy then. And if I look to myself, I don't remember I was like so happy, you know, not when I was a child either. I should not say I had a bad childhood, but I didn't like it so much. But we traveled a lot. This I can say, we traveled 1 time every year and that I liked. And I'm not a person who liked to sit on the beach, which we did a lot. And then we traveled by car to see stuff. And I don't want to see the world from a car. I want to explore it, hiking in it, be in the forest and this stuff. So if I see what made me happy then, like travel, then I can take this more to now. I have not traveled outside Sweden for a really long time. I should say years. And I I grew up, we travel one time to another country every year. And also beside that I want to live in another country, don't go together, but also it's about the problem have been in the world, the pandemic, the prices, me being sick is have not been possible for me to travel like I did before. But of course I hope to come back to that because I really like to see other places. And when I was grown up, but I was still not so grown up, I traveled with my friend to Croatia. And that for me is a happy travel memory because for first we had so much fun. And for second, she also liked to explore like me, old buildings and old places. So we explored a lot on that trip. We even took a boat over to Venedig and explored Venedig for a day. This is something I want to do again. I want to go back to Croatia and explore more places. But I'm sorry to say that this probably is not the same anymore because I can think that the tourists have destroyed it now, because when we traveled there 2010, I think it was, then it wasn't so much tourists there. It was like quite a new place to travel to from Sweden. And this is places I want to see, like it should be quite untouched. And it's good for the countries that it's a lot of tourists, but it's not good for the locals. And I also read that many of the tourist places that people go to, they don't want tourists anymore because tourists destroy the environment for the local people. And I think that's really bad. I think everywhere where you go, you have to respect the culture and you also have to respect the people who live there. And I don't have to go somewhere to see the same stuff I see home. I want to go and explore stuff who is differently, and I don't have to change it so it suits me. I want to see how it is for them, if that makes sense. And so this is something who really make me happy to do that. So I want to do more of this. And together with that, she talked about a time capsule also, that you can put in like a note for yourself, what you want to do in the future, and then you save it there, and then you remind yourself after some years, have you achieved it or not? And we're going to come back to something I also want to do more of when we come further down the list. And then it's venting. And she talked about this, like how do you express how you feel? Because it's not good to keep everything you feel inside you. And I know here that culture is differently, because I'm a person who like to express myself. And I grew up with this, that my mother say, like, it should stay in the four walls. And my husband is the same, the problem should stay in the four walls, your home. I'm not like that. If I'm angry, I don't care who's standing in front of me, I'm angry. And my husband, he's like, he can be angry at me, but then he's not angry. He's normal when he talk with, and now his father. And for me, it's not like that. For me, it don't have to stay in the four walls. If I'm angry, people are gonna know about it. And so I express myself in this way because I can't keep it in me. But he come from a culture where you should not express your feelings, that you should keep them inside you. Actually, in school, it was one woman who talked about this, that she come from the same type of culture. And she also say that they are not allowed to express their feelings to other people. And I think we come from a country that it is acceptable to do that. Know that we have to do it to feel good with ourselves. And also sometimes we just have to talk with someone. It can be a psychologist, it can be a friend, it can be a family member. Someone who you can like go with different ideas, how you're gonna do and how you're gonna respond or react on something. So I think this is a really good one she talked about when she talked about venting. And venting is a part of this big five that make you feel happy when you can express your feelings. Then we come to values. And I think that most of us grow up with different values from our family. I have used one thing here. Do we have to stick with these values? Maybe it's not what we feel and think about. And I know that I have changed a lot of values, how we respond to things, because I grew up that my parents never told me and my sister they love us. So we decided when we get a child that we should always tell our children that we love them, because they should not always know about it. It should not be a surprise for them. It should not be, you can say stuff and it's not what you meant, but also people need to hear that you love them. And don't go through life and regret yourself and the people just pass away and you wanted to say that and you never did. Just say it, express your feelings, and go back to your values. What is important for you? And one of the things I want also to put in my time capsule is that I really want to spend more time with my grandfather, and he's like 94. I know he's not forever, and we don't know when it's our time to pass away, but we know when someone is 94, there is probably not so long time left, not so many years at least. I want to spend more time with him, and the thing is, like, I have told this now since a couple of months back, but I never come to this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna make sure I make time to visit him, because I'm gonna regret myself if he pass away before I have visited him again. Then it's vitals. We need to take care of our body. And as I was speaking on before, if we don't feel good in our body, we are not happy. And for me, I think if I eat better food, it's gonna lead to me feeling better and it's gonna be easier to be happy. And I don't know if you think something else, and of course that's not everything, because I think that a lot of things the puzzle need to go together for your life to feel good. A whole puzzle of happiness. And she also talked about this, not only the food. Sleep good, take down the screen time. Don't have to go into the screen so much, but I think everyone knows that a lot of screen times is not good for us, and it's not good for our brain either to just Google everything. Our brain don't work so hard anymore as it did before, and especially not the children's brain. They grow up with this, like, you only open your phone and get the answer to the question instead of you have to struggle to find the answer. It's good and bad in this, but for the brain it's not so good. And then it's a vision. And vision is the future. You should plan your future, what you want with your life. And as I told, I want this, built my own tiny house. I want to live in the countryside. I want to have my garden and do my vegetables. For me, I should be happy to see my family happy there, to run around, my son play football, the dogs run around without the leash in the garden. I think I should be happy of that, to see them happy. And it should be better for me also. It should be more suitable for me to have that lifestyle, even if I think it's suitable for the dogs and my son also. And I want to travel more. As I told, I want to see my grandfather more. I want to spend time with my family more. I want to help people. That's why I studied occupational therapist. I think like this what I want, because I think this is gonna be a good ground for happiness. Is this, I will want to put a ground for myself, and from that just build happiness for a long run. Do you have something you want to share in the comments? Please do. If you have something about this you want to talk about, please do it. Feel free to do it. And I'm gonna answer, of course, if you have a question also. And if you feel now like, I don't have time for this, what she talk about, She even talk about this in this podcast, because she talk about if you are stressed and you have a lot of things to do, take your calendar and take free time and put joy or happiness. And on that time, you plan to put the time on happiness. And I think that's a really good idea. Because like for me, I put in meditation, I put in yoga. Why not happiness? Do something to make you happy. Whatever it can be. It can be whatever who suits for you, because it always have to be a personal thing. But right now, take a piece of paper, put down these 5 words I have talked about, and write down what you think on all of these 5, and try to find your happiness. And not the short time happiness here. We talk about the long time happiness. And I think this helped you in some way to see that it's more out there than just this short time happiness. It comes from stuff, because the stuff don't make us happy on a long run. I think that's an important lesson to all people who overconsume the whole time, that the stuff don't gonna make you happy. It's just gonna make it harder to live. And some stuff we really think that it make life easier, but it's not. And therefore also, take away the stuff you don't need. I just have to say it here also, because I can say to you, the less stuff you have, the easier lives get. And then it's easier also to get happy. Thank you for watching, and I see you in the next video. Bye bye.